Football is South Africa's biggest sport. Millions watch it every week. The stadiums roar when big teams play. And yet, when it comes to sponsorship, something doesn't add up. To understand the sponsorship landscape, we first need to understand how the PSL makes its money. In 2022, the last year the league published their financial results, the league generated 964 million rand in revenue. But most of that, 630 million of it, came from broadcasting rights, primarily through SuperSport. Sponsorship made up a smaller portion of the PSL revenue. At the time, DStv contributed 140 million rand in league naming rights, which it has since let go of to be replaced by Betway at roughly 180 million rand, while MTN and Nedbank brought in 48 million and 32 million respectively. This lack of sponsorship is mirrored in the way clubs are supported. In the current 2024-2025 season, 37.5% of our teams in the Betway Premiership do not have a front of shirt sponsorship. 3 of those that do have a front of shirt sponsorship are supported by brands controlled by owners of the same clubs, and another is supported by a municipality. What it means is that many of the PSL clubs depend on league grants derived mostly from broadcasting money to stay afloat. And if a club isn't securing its own sponsorship, it becomes financially vulnerable. One of the easiest assumptions is that clubs with the longest history get the biggest sponsorship. And to some extent, that's true. Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, for example, the 2 most followed teams in the country, have had a R1 billion deal with Vodacom since 2012, each earning 100 million rand per season. That might have changed slightly since then. But this is where the story takes a turn. Newer clubs like Stellenbosch FC and Cape Town City are also securing major sponsorship deals. Take Stellenbosch FC, for example. Founded in 2016, the club already has attracted sponsorships from brands such as Tuchosan, Le Coq Sportif, Aquele, RG Gloves, Maita, and more. It also benefits from the backing of Johan Rupert, South Africa's richest man, and a powerful figure in the corporate world. Then there's Cape Town City, also established in 2016. Despite being a relatively young club, it has consistently enjoyed strong corporate support with key sponsors like FNB and previously Sports Pesa. Its owner, John Comites, is an experienced football administrator with deep business connections.
We've had a lot of interest from Qatar, we've had a lot of interest from Saudi Arabia.
Unlike traditional giants like Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, these clubs don't have decades-old fan bases, yet they continue to thrive commercially. The reason? Probably strong management, influential ownership, and a strategic approach to corporate partnerships. Or maybe it's because they're owned and run by people of a fairer skin tone. That's what other people have to say. And this brings us to a debate that's growing in South African football. TS Galaxy owner Tim Sugazi has previously stated that corporate South Africa does not support black-owned clubs in the same way as it does others.
Business looks at professional football clubs, more especially black-owned clubs, differently. I'm sure about that.
But is this entirely about race, or is it about the way that clubs are run? 4 black-owned clubs have all had FIFA bans in 2024 for financial disputes. Galaxy's ban was due to unpaid wages of over 1.8 million rand, and Royal AM's financial struggles are well documented, and they led them to being put under curatorship by SARS and ultimately auctioned off. When brands see these clubs struggling to pay players or facing legal action, they see risk, and sponsors do not invest in risk. But it's not just club mismanagement that's hurting sponsorship. The PSL itself seems to have rules that limit sponsorship opportunities. For example, in 2022, Cape Town City entered into an agreement with FNB only for the PSL to reject it, arguing that it was in conflict with Nedbank, the league's cup competition sponsor. City challenged the PSL's decision in court and won, an interdict allowing them to wear the FNB kit, but the dispute went to arbitration. City argued that the PSL was misinterpreting its own contract, while the PSL claimed it was enforcing compliance. Swallows FC had a sponsorship deal with Telkom rejected by the PSL under similar grounds, with the league citing conflicts with both MTN, which sponsors the top 8 competition, and DStv, the league's former title sponsor. But here's where it gets interesting. Chiefs and Pirates have been allowed to keep their Vodacom sponsorship despite MTN being a league sponsor. The PSL's justification then? The deals predated the league sponsorship agreements with MTN. But this raises questions about whether the clubs should have exclusive financial advantages simply because of timing. Swallows also lost out on a betting sponsorship from Gold Rush, despite the fact that Golden Arrows, the team owned by the CEO of the league, who has been in her position for nearly a decade, had signed their own betting partnership with 10Bet. Swallows, as we know, ended up being sold as a result of financial difficulty. Speaking of betting, this is one of the biggest financial contributors to South African football now. The league is now known as the Betway Premiership thanks to the aforementioned 900 million rand sponsorship deal, but that money won't last forever. And in my view, we're a little bit late as a country to the game in clarifying what the rules and regulations are for potential brands looking to sponsor football.
Premier League clubs have agreed to ban gambling companies from sponsorship of the front of their shirts from the start of the 2025-26 season.
Shirts carrying prominent logos of betting or gambling companies have already been outlawed in Italy and Spain.
Given that an estimated 16 million South African citizens are gambling on illegal sites and South Africans spent 1.1 trillion rand in the local gambling industry between 2023 and 2024, I predict that the government will begin to crack down on gambling advertising, as is done in Europe, and this will be to the detriment of betting sponsorship, not excluding the South African PSL, where to hit rugby, cricket and other sports. This is why diversification is key. Clubs need sponsors from industries like finance, retail, energy, technology and the like. But with the league's own category sponsors restricting where clubs can find deals, this makes things easier said than done. So what's the solution? How do PSL teams become more attractive to sponsors? If I was advising a club on how to get sponsors, I'd give them a 5-step shortlist. The first, professionalize your operations. Financial stability and proper governance must come first. Your image is important. Secondly, know your audience. Imagine a club walking into a sponsorship meeting and saying, our fan base is 70% between 18 and 34, 65% engage on Instagram, 40% purchase sportswear regularly. That type of information is key. Third, build a marketable brand. Football clubs need to be brands, not just football teams. Image is everything, and the clubs that sell themselves well, like Chiefs, Pirates, Cape Town City, and Mamelodi Sundowns and others, are the ones securing big deals. Fourth, engage in digital and social media. Today, digital content is king. It's criminal to be a professional club and not have a website, let alone a social media profile. Clubs that dominate social media provide year-round visibility for sponsors. Finally, you have to understand the rules of the game. Clubs may think the PSL have restrictive rules that limit what deals they can sign, but understanding the rules and innovating around them can unlock massive opportunities. To wrap it all up, there is no single formula for securing sponsorship in South African football. It's not just about legacy, nor is it simply about ownership or success on the pitch. Sponsorship is about professionalism, strategy, and how well a club positions itself as a valuable commercial partner. Tenure in the league does not automatically guarantee sponsorship, nor does being in a newly formed club mean you'll struggle to attract investment. Some of the longest standing clubs in South African football still lack major backers, while newer teams have successfully built strong commercial portfolios. Sponsorship is about alignment. Clubs that understand their audience, engage their fans effectively, and create meaningful partnerships will thrive. Those that fail to adapt will continue to struggle while others move ahead. If you got this far, thank you so much for watching. This is a video produced by us and the team at 22 Hours. It's a labor of love and will be a series looking into the business of sport, but much more in-depth and much crisper than your quick takes that you get every week. So, thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe wherever you watch this piece of content. We'll see you again next month with another CNS long form special.